We read news every day. News that's informative, but rarely encouraging. The InterMountain Christian newspaper aims to change that. They present the news you need to know, from what's going on in your community to your world, with encouraging words, motivation, and the resources you need to make positive changes in your life. What is your local government doing that you need to know about? What's happening in your community you need to be a part of? Whether it's a story from your neighborhood, a national story, or an encouraging word, you'll find biblical issues of everyday life in the InterMountain Christian newspaper. InterMountain Christian News is produced and supported by the work and donations of individuals and churches. You'll find it at churches, Christian bookstores, by subscription, and online at IMCNH06032016. To find out more about supporting this local resource, go online at IMCNews.org or call InterMountain Christian News in Boise, Idaho at 208-703-8688. The InterMountain Christian News, a voice sharing the truth on matters dear to people's hearts.
Are you tired of the secular news? Do you want a Christian view of politics? Do you want to know what is going on in your Christian community? Your wait is over. Welcome to the InterMountain Christian News Hour. Here is your host, Dr. Anthony Harper.
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here with the InterMountain Christian News Hour, making a difference, being a voice of truth. And Christians have an opportunity to share commentary and other important issues that need to be addressed. And I'm blessed again to talk with my good friend Gina Gibson, National Day of Prayer, Mountain States. And from Laramie, Wyoming, thanks for joining me again, Gina.
Well, thanks for having me again, Dr. Anthony. It's been a while, I think, since we have visited. We've had our paths go in two different directions, so it's always good to be on the broadcast.
It's a great opportunity and that we have in making a difference. And so, you know, there are a lot of things that have been happening here lately. We know Franklin Graham is still on tour for the Decision America tour. And fill in our listeners an update on what's happening with that tour.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony. We are very excited here in Wyoming that Franklin Graham will be coming to our capital this summer. He is continuing on the Decision America tour, and I know he plans to be at all the state capitals before Election Day this year, and I believe he's been to at least half of the states thus far. So he is coming to Cheyenne, Wyoming on August the 12th. He will also be in Montana in August, and I think you mentioned that he would also be in your state of Idaho in August. And folks can go to the Decision America Tour website. They can just Google Decision America Tour, and there's a place where you can click all states and just click on the drop-down menu on your state and find out if that rally has happened yet, when that date might be coming, and of course get folks out to support those Decision America tours across all of our states.
Yes, it's a great website, decisionamericatour.com, and I was just checking here for the dates for Idaho. It's August 10th, and in Montana, August 9. And both of those at the state capitol buildings, but different than in Wyoming, where it's in the Supreme Court, the lawn, I guess, right across from the Capitol.
Yes, that's correct. You know, I know those that are from Wyoming will know this, that our Capitol is currently under renovation and will be closed for several years to get it back up to where it needs to be with just things that are happening with this old building. So they will be directly across the street on the lawn of the Supreme Court for the Decision America tour, and we're just believing that we will get thousands there. Even though Wyoming is a small state with a small population, we're hoping to draw from western Nebraska and northern Colorado as well to come join us in Cheyenne on August the 12th at 12 noon at our Supreme Court.
That's good to know about that. You know, it's very important times. I know Franklin Graham feels called by God to encourage Christians to vote and be responsible. And, you know, for too long, Christians have been silent, and a lot of church voters stayed home and didn't vote. And that would have made a big difference in the previous elections if we would have been responsible in voting.
Yes, and I know it gets discouraging, when you look at those that are running for office. And sometimes, I hear people say, I just don't know who to vote for. But it's important to go into this process and being very prayerful and asking the Lord to identify who He's chosen. And, this isn't done till it's done. We could still have, another candidate. God could surprise us with somebody else jumping into the race. So we need to just continue to pray for the election process as well, to be honest, and that the voters would come out and vote. I know that's part of what Franklin is emphasizing across the nation. I did attend the tour in Denver, and I know he is emphasizing that folks get out to vote this year.
That is a wonderful thing, and I believe it's really a pivotal time for our nation. Gina, I know a lot of Christian leaders are concerned, and I was encouraged to hear again today about the Issachar movement. A large number of pastors are getting involved in leadership positions, running for Congress, running for school board, or city council or whatever, and people need to know that it is time for us to stand up and be leaders. And of course, in the absence of good leadership, there'll be plenty of bad leadership individuals that would love to take our place.
Yes, and I know that has to be a very definite call from the Lord, but I do believe God is calling some of those that are, hopefully Christians, not necessarily just pastors, but Christians, to consider. And that's part of what Franklin challenges us to as well, is to consider prayerfully whether God would call us to be even on our local school board or hospital board or wherever there may be positions open where we can make a difference. And so that's something definitely to take to the Lord in prayer. As I prayed about it, I feel like the Lord is not calling me to do that at this time in my life. He has some other plans for me, but I know that there will be some. And, in the very beginnings of our nation, those founding fathers, many of them were ministers of the gospel. That's,
yes.
The Lord used them to write that Constitution. We know that was a God-breathed document. And as much as people would try to just, cast it aside now as antiquated, it really came from the hand of God through those founding fathers.
It did, and a couple of great websites to know about our godly American heritage from David Barton or William Federer. Both of those websites, one for David Barton is wallbuilders.com, and 2 L's in wall, so wallbuilders.com, and William Federer's website is americanminute.com. And
yes, and I do get the American Minute every day, I think, in my inbox, and don't always get to read it, but I do enjoy reading it. It gives you a lot of insight. I really like the Wall Builders, too. I know years ago I watched just a brief video that someone had sent me giving the spiritual heritage of the United States Capitol, and it was a tour led by David Barton, and it was very fascinating just to hear the stories. I would like to track that video down again. Maybe we can track it down and post it on our Facebook pages for people to watch. But it's it was very educational and very inspiring to know that our founding fathers really did have Christianity in mind when this nation was founded. There would be those that are revisionists now that are trying to tell us no, that this, that was never the intention. But there's just too much history that declares that was the intention. And so it's exciting to hear those stories.
Oh, it is. And we had William Federer here recently, and got a chance to meet with him in person for the first time, and that was quite exciting. And the presentation was so impressive, and I have heard David Barton speak as well. They're both walking encyclopedias, I tell you, and so they've got a lot of great information. And also, I'm thinking about, an update for the National Day of Prayer. You've got some news, some breaking news regarding the leadership position.
Yes, we do. I think since I last did an interview with you, on the National Day of Prayer this year, Mrs. Dobson got up and we were bracing ourselves. The national office had told us to be watching for a big announcement. So many of us got on and watched the Cannon House observance from Washington, D.C. And the very first announcement she made was that this was her final event, that she was stepping back. She has just completed, this is her 25th year, that she felt that the Lord was calling her in a different direction. And at that event, she passed the baton for the National Day of Prayer Task Force to Anne Graham Lotz, Billy Graham's daughter. And of course, this is a bittersweet time for those of us that have walked with Mrs. Dobson for many years, because we love her and she's been just a blessing to us. But we're also excited for the energy that we believe Anne Graham Lotz will bring to this prayer movement.
I'm sure she'll make a big difference. And
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here with the InterMountain Christian News Hour, wanting to share the gospel message with you. It is clear that you hear the message and respond as soon as possible. In John 3:16, it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in him would not perish, but have everlasting life." Please humble yourself today and admit your sins and ask Jesus to forgive you of your sins and be your Savior today before it's too late. If you died today without Jesus, you would be lost forever in hell, which does exist, contrary to what you've heard from Oprah Winfrey and so many others. Please respond today. To learn more about having a relationship with Jesus, you can check out our website, imcnews.org, and at the top left of our website, you'll see a Who is Jesus banner ad, so you can click on that for more information. Also, you can call 24/7, this toll-free number, 1-888-NEED-HIM. And there's also a website, www.needhim.org. Once again, that 24/7 telephone number, toll-free, 1-888-NEED-HIM.
Are you tired of the secular news? Do you want a Christian view of politics? Do you want to know what is going on in your Christian community? Your wait is over. Welcome to the InterMountain Christian News Hour. Here is your host, Dr. Anthony Harper.
I was talking with you recently about a movie that she was in. She was in a panel with other experts. And that movie, I don't think you have seen, is called Patterns of Evidence, about the book of Exodus. So for those who want to know more about that, it's patternsofevidence.com. And it's a great website. You can, I'm sure, see this on DVD now. And so it was quite the movie that I saw. So clear documentation of the book of Exodus and how reliable that story is. So I hope you get a chance to see that soon.
Yes, I look forward to checking that out. And, as we mentioned, Anne Graham Lotz, she does plan to join us at our leadership summit this year in Washington, D.C. I know she will be there at least for a portion of it. Prayer leaders from across the nation will be in Washington, D.C., July 14th through the 17th. And we will be hearing from some national leaders in prayer. So that's always an exciting time. On July 16th, the National Day of Prayer Task Force will be joining the young people from Together 2016 on the National Mall for a full day of prayer. And they are praying and asking the Lord to send 1 million prayer warriors to that event. And they will have just an all-day prayer time. There'll be prayer tents. We will be there praying and agreeing with these young people. So it will be folks of all ages that are going to be there on the mall on July 16th. And if folks are interested in that event, they can just Google Together 2016, and it tells you how to respond. I think we've already had maybe 250,000, maybe not that many, but I think I've heard, at least into the 100,000 maybe people that have registered saying they will come to the mall to pray. And then for our event, for the Prayer Leadership Summit, if folks go to our website, we have a monthly call, Pray for America, on the first Thursday of every month. And in July, I'm going to be moderating the national call, so I will put that information on our Facebook page, and would love to have people call in, and we'll have some special guests join us on that call, and just be praying from around America for the needs of our nation.
It is crucial to be in prayer for our nation as never before. And, Gina, we do have a lot to deal with. I want to encourage people to, get involved and make a difference. And a lot has happened since we've talked last. I've been on the road promoting the newspaper for a couple of weeks, and then you've had a lot to deal with. And would encourage people to continue to pray for you. What is that update on the health issues that we've been praying for you all about?
Well, I know many that know us personally know that we had a grandchild that was born 3 weeks early. In April, he was born 3 weeks before his due date, and he has been quite ill. And he was hospitalized for multiple days, 24 days. And so, of course, we were trying to provide some care for his siblings while his parents were at his bedside pretty much around the clock. There were very few breaks for them. He's now come home, and we're grateful for that. Continuing to have some support medically, but is starting to thrive. So I appreciate all those that have prayed for our baby Josiah, and would continue to just pray, for just a complete healing for him, and that life would get back to normal, whatever normal is. I've decided I'm not sure what normal looks like anymore. Just try to go every day with the joy of the Lord, and I'm sure that you would agree with that. We just never know what a day holds, and so we want to just walk in the joy of the Lord and rejoice in whatever the Lord allows us to walk through.
Yes, to be thankful in all things, and having that attitude of gratitude or thankfulness is so important, I think, in our spiritual development, and can be encouraging to other people to hear that we are thankful. And it's probably not a very common response that people would hear from someone.
Yes, and as people are looking for ways to pray, I would also direct them again back to our webpage. When you go to the nationaldayofprayer.org, you're going to find just a wealth of information there. And on our homepage, you'll see a link that says How to Pray for America. And when you click on that, there's just a lot of great things that kind of direct you to, how you can be in prayer. We have an election prayer guide out there. It will direct you, if you would like, a prayer map from Every Home for Christ that leads you through praying for the 50 states. I have that up in our prayer room here in Laramie. Those are great. Those are free resources. Many of them are free. And they're just great things to add to your, what I just keep sort of a supply of different things that challenge me when I pray and get me thinking the way God thinks. Scriptural prayer guides are so helpful. There is a prayer guide out there, I think, that says how to pray, 30 ways to pray for those in authority, and that's kind of an older prayer guide that's been around for a long time. But I really like that prayer guide because it's very scriptural, but also just a lot of other really solid resources out there.
There are so many wonderful resources, and I'm looking forward to seeing you once again sometime. I was passing through Wyoming. It didn't work out to meet you then, but God willing, I'll get to be back in Wyoming. It's so beautiful there, and I thank you for joining me today again, Gina, and giving us all update on this issue. And once again, DecisionAmericaTour.com, great website to learn more and how we can get involved. And so God bless you and your family with good health, Gina.
Well, thank you, Dr. Anthony. If I could pray for you before I go, I would love to do that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Lord, thank you for this time together today on this broadcast. Thank you for the ministry of the InterMountain Christian News, and continue to pray for more open doors, God, for the newspaper to be placed out and for the radio broadcast even to be on some radio stations that would be open. God, just even bring forward those that should be interviewed. We do want to lift up our brother Franklin Graham as he continues on his travels across America. Watch over him. Watch over his father, Billy Graham, who is quite elderly but still with us, Lord. Watch over the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. God, the times we live in are perilous, and yet they are exciting. Lord, you know that all of us are pretty homesick for heaven. Lord, we feel that every day. But God, while we're here, I just pray that each of us could be just useful in your hands, God, as we share the gospel with friends, neighbors, and coworkers. And we just want to see a great awakening come to America. So bless those that are listening today, God, and we just give you all the praise and all the glory and honor in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Gina. I'll look forward to talking with you again.
All right, thanks, Dr.
Thank you.
Anthony.
Bye, Gina.
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here with the InterMountain Christian News Hour, an outreach of the InterMountain Christian newspaper making a difference. And we need your support of good news. Check out our website at IMCNH06032016, where you can download our newspaper and make your tax-deductible donation to support our voice, our Christian concerns at the White House and in Israel and other places. Do go online to make your donation and to support this important news ministry, the only evangelical Christian newspaper of its kind, a grassroots newspaper in our InterMountain regions, spanning from Colorado over to Reno, Nevada. And we currently have needs to cover our travel expenses for White House and Israel trips. And also, we need a donated minivan, a vehicle, a good condition, low mileage, air conditioning, and automatic transmission for delivery of our newspapers and other news events that we go to cover, representing Christian concerns. So please make your donation, tax deductible, online at imcnews.org, just by clicking on the donate banner ad that you see there. Thank you for your support of our good newspaper and for your prayers, most importantly, that we can continue to be a voice of truth for Christians in our InterMountain region, for the glory of God.
Oh,